All right. It's the 11th of September 2021, just after 9 p.m., just after 9 p.m. And I'm going to talk about the moon, and I'm going to read you a poem. I did a screenshot at 9 a.m. when some app, I don't know what it's called, I forget, when the app pops up and told me that my natal Neptune is in conjunction with the transiting moon. I'm not sure what that means exactly, but it might have something to do with me being able to bring together a group with words or ideas that transport them. So I'm thinking maybe that's what this is. Poetry and art may be possible now. Well, you're going to hear a poem I wrote like 30 years ago and see some photography and videography I did earlier this evening. So it seems like that came true. It says, my whole world may seem trance-like and dreamy, and it doesn't seem any different than any other day. So I'm thinking maybe my whole world seems trance-like and dreamy just indefinitely. I don't know any better. So maybe this is trance-like and dreamy. I don't know. It doesn't feel that way. Books, and all forms of escape could prove enjoyable. I don't know about that. It's 9 o'clock and I'm not in the mood for a movie. I'm probably going to watch a live stream that started a while ago that's probably going to go on for a few hours. And if not, maybe I'll watch it when it's not live, after it's recorded. But I have a few more minutes of this picture of my natal chart against my today's day in astrology. I don't know. I've just been dabbling in it to see what I could see. And I think this is my determination at this point in time is that if it's like anything, like if say there's a yoga teacher where you live and the yoga teacher does free classes every week, well, you're not going to benefit from them if you don't go to them. So I feel like there's a benefit to astrology if you put time and energy into it, figuring it out and using it as a tool. But I don't know that much about it, and I haven't put that much time into it. So I don't get a whole lot out of it yet, but it's interesting to know, like I know more stuff than I did know. It's interesting to be able to look up at the night sky and know that that's Venus and that's Jupiter, and to know a couple more things. And I also can, navigate at night better now that I know, the stars and the moon and all that kind of stuff. So as I get more into it, I'll have to see how it pans out. Now, this is a picture of, obviously, the sun setting. You can't see the moon yet or Venus, but you will be able to see that later. I'll have to point that out. For the next part, I'm going to read a poem that I wrote. I can't remember if I wrote it before or after I had children, because it's been so long. But it's got to be at least 25 to 30 plus years ago I wrote this. It's called the Sleep Poem, and I haven't come up with a better title for it, so that's the title. And it goes like this. It's 10 o'clock, it's 10 o'clock. I should be sleeping, but I'm not. I am filled with energy. If you were with me, you would see. I want to jump, to run, to fly. But it's late, I realize. I'll be tired when it's day, and in my bed I'll want to stay. Tomorrow I will be running late. Is tardiness my only fate? I have a list of things to do. I think of it and worry too. Thoughts are racing through my head as my body rests upon my bed. You better quiet down, I say, but those thoughts won't go away. So I try to think of happy things, like songs I've sung, like fun I've had or songs I sing. But this doesn't help one bit. My brain acts like a catcher's mitt. I've had a drink of herbal tea. I washed, I brushed, I even peed. I see the clock, it's getting late. I better try to meditate. Prayers of thanks and gratitude always elevate my mood. It is time for me to rest and be one with unconsciousness. The only thing that's left to do is to stop thinking, wouldn't you? I close my eyes, take a deep breath, let it out, and begin to rest. It feels so good to let go. No thoughts, no worries. It feels like snow falling softly to the ground, gentle quiet without a sound. What happens next? I cannot speak, for I have fallen fast asleep. I might read that at the end. Maybe I should read that at the end of all my videos. I don't really have a closer yet. I think I'm going to start them all with all right as like an affirmation, like all right. All is right in the world. And I want to have a closer. I know my parents used to say pleasant dreams before they left for the evening as they shut the door. Pleasant dreams. And I know that some app used to say have a restful sleep. I like that too. But this isn't the end. This is going to go on for a while now. It's going to be 15 minutes because that's how many pictures I have. 15 minutes worth of pictures and videos. The video at the end is like slowed down as much as I can slow it down. My neighbors are making noise. Hear all that? I already recorded this once, so here we go again. Just the sound wasn't right. Again, the point of these is supposed to be just nothing but burgers, or as I like to call them, nothing muffins, because I don't eat meat. I don't eat burgers. Well, I mean, I guess I could eat a veggie burger, but I'm not a burger fan. Not that they're horrible, but I'm just, I like nothing muffin. So in the other audio that I did, I read this thing about the moon and how there was going to be a harvest moon on September 20th, which is coming up. Obviously, I just said it was the 11th. And it's on a Saturday, so it's no, it's not on a Saturday. It is on a Monday, the 20th. So the full moon that's coming up next is called the harvest moon. And it's closest to the September equinox. It's the full moon closest to the September equinox. And it's either in September or October. This year it's in September. And most years the harvest moon is in September, but every 3 years it's in October. Just about every 3 years. Bet you didn't know that. I'm actually a wealth of information about the moon, the harvest moon. The harvest moon is the most famous of all the full moon names. Some sources claim the name originates from the ancient Native American tradition, and others point out that the harvest moon was recorded as early as the 700s. Yeah, the 700s. In both Anglo-Saxon and Old High German languages. I'm definitely not reading this. I'm telling you all this from the top of my head. In ancient times, it was common to track the changing seasons by following the lunar month rather than the solar year, which the 12 months in our modern calendar are based on. See, we go by the solar year. Now, same with astrology. There's solar or tropical astrology. They're the same thing. And then there's sidereal astrology, which is not based on the calendar, whereas the sidereal astrology is based on the actual sun and moon. Like, you might be different signs in tropical or solar astrology than you are in sidereal astrology. It gets confusing, whatever. But I'm going to continue my wealth of knowledge that I'm definitely not reading off of a website. For millennia, people, including millennials, across Europe, as well as Native American tribes, named the months after features they associated with the Northern Hemisphere seasons. Many of these names are very similar or identical. Today we use many of these ancient month names as full moon names. A common explanation is that colonial Americans adopted many of the Native American names and incorporated them into the modern calendar. The Old Farmer's Almanac famously publishes a list of full moon names, and we have chosen to use these as the main full moon names. We? Who's we? Me and all the people that are here with me. They're being very quiet. No, I'm kidding. This is from an article. I don't know if people can tell I'm being sarcastic. I think maybe people who, maybe English isn't their first language might hear this and be like confused. So I'm using sarcasm. I'm actually reading this. It's really hot in here too, by the way. I had to turn off the fans because every time I recorded it was just coming out too bad, and I had to look for the right kind of microphone. I went through a bunch until I found this one. It seems to be doing pretty good. Pretty well. So what's the next thing here we have to say? The most common Native American names for the September full moon is the full corn moon and barley moon, because this is what is, harvesting right now. Harvest moon, because harvests are coming up. And these names do not vary with the equinoxes. The October full moon was called Hunter's Moon, Blood Moon, and Sanguine Moon by different native tribes. However, this was not to be confused with the total lunar eclipse, also known as a blood moon, due to the reddish color the moon takes on during a total eclipse. When the Julian calendar was introduced in 45 BC, the Latin month names became more common. The earlier pagan and Native American month names have since been reintroduced as full moon names, particularly by various farmers' almanacs in the United States. What are we looking at now? Oh, that picture that you see now, if you're looking, is a Venus. The star, it's not a star, it's a wandering star or planet or a little planette, a little plane. It's kind of weird to call them a planette because it's a plane, A plane is flat. So the planettes, are they flat? I heard somebody say they were portals. Portals. All right, let's see what else I know about short times between moon rises. Regardless of where the name originated, the astronomical significance of the harvest moon is the same all over the northern hemisphere. The full moon closest to the September equinox is astronomically special because the time between one moonrise to the next becomes shorter around this time. Typically, the moon rises, on average, 50 minutes later every day in a lunar month, which is the time it takes the moon to travel through all the moon phases. However, for a few days around the harvest moon, the moon rises less than 50 minutes later than the day before. In the old days, the early moonrise for a few days around the equinox meant that farmers could work and harvest their crops for a longer time in the evenings. The reverse effect occurs in the southern hemisphere, where the astronomical seasons are opposite, and the September equinox is the vernal equinox. Here, the moon rises more than 50 minutes later than on the previous day around the harvest moon. People in the southern hemisphere experience the harvest moon effect around the March equinox instead, which makes sense. The September equinox coincides with many cultural events, religious observances, and customs around the world. For example, the Chinese Mid-Autumn Festival, also known as the Moon Festival, is a harvest festival also celebrated in Vietnam, Taiwan, and Hong Kong. In the U.S., there are many Harvest Moon festivals with farmers markets, beer and wine tasting, craft fairs, concerts, and entertainment. Harvest Moon is also the name of a popular computer game, as well as a 1992 album and song by Canadian musician Neil Young. And that takes us to the end of today's Go to Bed with Me or Go to Sleep with Me. And I hope you're asleep, and if you're not, I wish you a pleasant evening and pleasant dreams and a restful, relaxing, rejuvenating sleep. Good night and goodbye. I'll talk to you soon.